Well, there was no stacked buying as such on the breakout, but we had some when the market started falling down. All right. So this is classic stacked selling. All right. This is how the imbalance will be, very, very clear. You can see here box after box we're getting red color. And the most important thing, once this happens, this is clear stacked selling. All right. And the most important thing that should happen after this is follow through. All right. Again, where the stacks are forming is again an important point. On this bar, we had stacks throughout, but on these bars, they were happening in the top range of the bar. Stacks happening at the bottom, like I'm talking about sell stacks. If sell stacks are happening at the lower end of the bar, it is a warning sign, something like this. Okay, but since this was the first bar where the sellers actually came, you had a cumulative delta shift happening on that bar. This is okay, and we also got a follow through. But on subsequent bars, you can see the stacks are at the top. That is a good sign. If the stacks start happening at the lower end of the bars, that can be a cause for concern. All right. Now let me see if I have any examples of stacks happening at the wrong place. Yeah, we have one. This is Bank Nifty. Now, you can see that this bar, the stacks were not that great, but still we had a few. On this bar, we had nice cluster of stack sellers, nice follow through. But then something interesting happened. When this particular support was being approached, right? This was yesterday's VWAP. You saw this big cluster happening right near the support. Now, we know that if there is a support, what kind of traders are going to be present just above the support? Limit buyers. You see lot of aggressive selling happening right at that limit buying. This tells you that there is this struggle going on now. Okay. Here, this aggressive selling might be from amateur traders who are hoping for a breakdown from this particular support. But the smart money is using this liquidity to establish their long positions. And then what happens? We do get a very, very small follow through. But again, this thing happens. What is this? We'll look at it in a moment. And then finally, we reverse back up. Why this happened is because now, even though we have stacked sellers, the context suggested the presence of limit buyers, that is a smart money buying happening in this zone, and that did not work well or in favor of the sellers. Also, look at where this stack is happening. Is it near the top or near the bottom? Stack selling happening near the bottom is not a good sign. Stack selling happening near the top, this is a good sign. This is not. All right. So always, monitor these formations via multiple angles. All right. These have the power to give you deeper insights into the markets. But if you just look at it in terms of where I should buy or sell, or is this a entry signal for buy or is this a entry signal for sell, well, you will get into trouble. But if you keep your eyes open, okay, keep your mind sharp and try to see why this is happening, why the stacked buyers and sellers are happening at the lower end of this particular bar. It should happen at the top. Sellers should sell at the top, like sell high, buy low. So if they are not selling high, they are selling lower, something is changing. Are we approaching the support? Are the limit buyers expected in this zone? These kind of questions you need to ask. That is when you will get the correct answers. that is when you will be able to use this information profitably in your trading. All right. Now, unfortunately, right now I only have yesterday's chart to share examples with you, right? But as we move on with our membership, we will have multiple examples of such stack buying and selling. Another one, this is just today, we see a lot of selling happening here, lot of imbalance, all zeros on this side. All right. Another stack here. Then what happens? We go lower, we again go lower, but you can see what the delta is doing, forming kind of a divergence. You can see the range of the bar. You can see this range was pretty wide. This is narrow. This is again narrow. So if you are a VSA trader, you can immediately spot a shortening of thrust. We saw this. Now it is struggling to scale the VWAP. Will it be able to scale the VWAP? If it does, if it finds acceptance, we can actually move higher. All right. And then this stacked selling will come in handy. How? Let us go back to our PPT. We saw two examples. One is stacked buying and selling. Unfortunately, we could only see selling, and obviously we will get chance of finding stacked buying examples also later. And then we also saw limit buying. Now let us move on with our action points and see what other action points are there, and what other action points can we see later on in the day. Right. So let us go back to the PPT.